Mostly I think it's because of who you get to play with. Like, it's not just you playing online on a random server with a bunch of random people. You're playing with, your friends and people you've been playing D&D with for a while. And it kind of just, you know how they're going to act, so it kind of gives you that sense of, he's not going to screw me over if I run over here and save this girl while he's fighting, a dredge skeleton. I'm Daniel Leake. I'm a freshman at Appalachian State University. I've actually been a player and a DM of D&D for about 9 years now. A DM is a dungeon master. A DM guides his or her players through the world that they build or a preset world that comes in an adventure book. D&D is a pen and paper game. It's a tabletop pen and paper game. So literally all you need is a pencil, your character sheet or what you have your character sheet written on, and dice. And the rest just comes flowing from your imagination.
Go through the portal.
They all go through the portal.
Follow through the portal.
In the beholder tank?
Can we?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You guys kind of pass through the tank and you're entered into a realm of complete darkness. A lot of professional Magic players, like people who go out and play in the Pro Tour and win, are actually game designers who design all these different types of tabletop board games and online games. And what the best way to do that is you just sit down and you have a game of D&D. Like, you build characters and you just play. The Wizards of the Coast, who produce all the D&D, official D&D licensed products, release every so often a set of core rule books and a monster manual that you can use to build a world. They give you the classes and the stats for everything you'll need to build characters. In addition to that, they also give you the gold system, so you can use that as a base to kind of build and flesh out your world. Most people just start from scratch though. They'll sit down with an idea about what they want their main bad guy to be, and they'll build an entire world around that. In this campaign, I'm not really particular about what you play. I kind of made a world where all the different continents house all kinds of different pantheons of gods. So you've got one for the Egyptian pantheon, you've got the Greek, you've got the Norse, you've got the Japanese pantheon, you've got the Roman pantheon, so on and so forth. My first character was a human paladin, which is basically just a lawful good knight who goes around and basically helps out people who he sees are in dire straits and are in need of assistance. When I play, I kind of try and make character combinations that I've never thought about before. So for example, I could make a dragonborn wizard, or I could make a tiefling rogue, or even a gnome paladin who is a 4 feet tall person who wears like 80 pounds worth of armor. I made a monk who only fought really well when he was enamored. So I was basically a drunken fist monk. And I would just look over the DM and just pick up my D20 and I go, roll to get hammered. And he goes, yeah, you're so hammered, you like stagger. And I'm like, this is good. When you put, time and effort into a character and you level up with the character, like you see your character grow, I think it's sort of like the internal parental instincts in everybody, that it's like watching your child grow up. You're very proud of all their accomplishments, and since you're playing them, you're obviously disappointed in their downfalls, but just building your character. I think D&D kind of helps to build some people's confidence. Like, if you don't have the best confidence in the world, just find a group of cool guys to sit down and play a singular night with, and I guarantee you will have a higher confidence than when you entered.
Just the fly? No.
Normally, if you have more people, it takes a lot more time to flesh out the story and move the campaign along. As we learned in our other session, we've got 6 people, or no, it's 8 now. We've got 8 people, and it just kind of just drags on. We only get like maybe 1 or 2 things done a session. But I find with like 4 to 5 people is the sweet spot, because you give all the characters enough time to shine, but you don't have to wait for all these characters to finish their dialogue, so you can keep going with what you need to do. Well, I love Magic because it's what I do to make money. D&D is sort of like my game that I used to blow off steam, but they are very similar. Well, one in the fact that Wizards of the Coast produces both Magic the Gathering and the Dungeons & Dragons official licensed product, but also just the idea of high fantasy being put not only into a pen and paper game, but a strategy game in which you also have to use your brain to think out complex situations and prepare and challenge yourself based on who you're playing against. I enjoy the colors blue, black, and white, mostly because I am a control player at heart, and for all the tournament Magic players out there, as well as casual Magic players, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say countering spells and killing their creatures long enough for you to stabilize the board and play a giant creature that they can't deal with and win the game is probably my favorite feeling in Magic. Like, I don't have a specific deck type that I'm specific to. I can play, you know, any type that I see fit to play or I feel like is the best archetype for the time. But normally, those are the things that I stick to. The card art itself tells a story. Like, the Magic card art itself tells the underlying story of the Planeswalkers and their battle against all the different things in the multiverse that are causing havoc and wreaking havoc. For example, we were talking about Dragons of Tarkir, how it just had recently hit the shelves. In this part of the Khans of Tarkir block, Sarkhan Vol, the Planeswalker, had gone back in time to save Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, to make sure dragons had never died out on Tarkir. And when he comes back to the present, he's altered it in such a way that there are no more Khans, but the dragon lords have sort of risen to power on the plane of Tarkir. And I feel like people play the physical game more because, you know, as humans, at a base level, we all crave some sort of social interaction. And Magic is just one of those things, like, once you start, you really don't ever stop. You may take like breaks here and there, but you'll always find yourself drawn back into the game, because through this game I have made so many influential friends and allies that I would not have made anywhere else had I not been a player of Magic.